So my name is Earl Alt. My wife and I bought this car from Vlasic Pollitt in Newport Beach, I believe it was, in about 1972. I was at UCLA studying physics at the time, and my wife was working at Hughes Aircraft. She's the one that had the day job so we could afford to buy a sports car. We've owned it continuously since then, and it's been a fun car. It hasn't been a transportation car, so we would only use it on trips, and we'd store it when it wasn't in use at all. So for the last 12 years or so, it was stored at our barn at our previous winery, and we just got it reconditioned last year and put it on the market. It's got original paint, original interior, and it's been a well-maintained car. We're kind of sad to see it go, but we've gotten old enough now that there are other things in life that were much more interesting to us. So the car will go to a good owner, I'm sure. We chose this car because it was the end of the '71 model year, and it was the only one that had left on the floor. We wanted the peacock blue version, but they didn't have any, and we didn't want to wait for another car from '72, so we took this car.
Very good color. It's called Conda Green.
I don't think I've seen many green cars.
So my wife is also a physicist, and we had this car serviced at the dealer we bought it from for its first years. And we ran into Eli Wallach one day, and my wife was joking around, and she wanted to tell him, "Batches? We don't need no stinking batches. We got Porsches." We both moved into aerospace about the time that we bought this car, and spent 5 years in SoCal, and then took a job in private industry up in eastern Washington out in the desert. And so we'd keep the car stored in the winter because they had bad road conditions, and we'd use it in the summer as a touring car and drove all over the Northwest. We brought it back here and started into the wine business, and then we had other cars to do other things, trucks mainly, tractors, and so the car ended up being in the barn most of its life. And what was really interesting was we bought this car just before I-5 opened up. I-5 was posted 100 miles an hour at that time. And so we drove from LA to Seattle in an amazing amount of time, never breaking 130 and never dropping below 100. Great road car. Too bad we can't drive speeds like that anymore. We also used to go camping around Mount Rainier. Since we're backpackers, the trunk was big enough we could get all our gear in it. And that raised some eyebrows. You pull into a campground where it's at a trailhead, everybody else has got trucks and vans, and we show up in a sports car. Well, this is a performance car, of course, and as you go up in speed, you get more front loading from the wind blowing over it, so it handles better and better the faster you go. It's a shame to drive it around town. It's just got too much ability. At 120 in fifth gear, you're probably running about 3,000, 3,500. It's loafing, but you have to take care with the tire pressure. You don't want to go fast like that if the tires are underinflated. Oh, the Speedster we had is a completely different animal. That felt like it was going 100 when you're doing 25 miles an hour, because your butt's only about 6 inches off the pavement. And it's completely open, even when the top is on it. The side curtain windows are hardly windows. So this is a luxury car. Here, you roll up the windows and it's tight and quiet, even being air cooled. This is my wife, Linda. She was the Porsche when we got married. That was always her dream, have a car like this. And it took a few years of working at real jobs in order to afford it, but it was worth it. We loved this car.
I had an MG when I was in undergraduate, and I really wanted a Porsche because there was one fellow that used to go, we'd almost drag race, not quite, but drag race on Garden Grove Boulevard before the freeway, going off to school. And then I always wanted the Porsche. So when we finally saw this one, we said, this is it. Then we love it. Sorry to see, like Earl said, sorry to see it go, but you know, at our age, maybe someone else can enjoy this, and we're enjoying a minivan. A little more comfort, a little more room.
A car like this really appeals to scientists and engineers because it is so highly engineered, and it really is form and function at the same time. So in our jobs in aerospace, we dealt with highly developed machines all the time. And so of course, if you're looking for a car, you'd like to find that in an automobile as well.
I remember in the Speedster, when we went up to Washington State, it was Eastern Washington State in the wine country, what is wine country now, and we had this car and the Porsche Speedster, and I think we got stopped 2 or 3 times in this car where the police wanted to know what kind of a car it is, and I don't know how many times I got stopped in a Porsche Speedster. No one had seen a car like that where I was. So I got stopped, and one guy said, what kind of a Rig is this? And it wasn't a Rig. I said, it's a Porsche. He said, oh, didn't look like a Porsche. They hadn't never seen a Porsche Speedster. They've seen a few of the 356s, I mean, the older ones, and a few of the 900 series, but no Speedsters. And for whoever buys the car, we'd like to meet them and come by, taste some wine, and we'll throw in a case of wine.